We're back to Tyler Talks. I don't have the same energy tonight, y'all. It's just not there. Lost a game tonight in Rob M's Zoom Invitational. I worked hard to get there, picked up games. I have this deck that I've been quietly toying with that I think is phenomenal. I think it would see best deck of last year. No offense to Nick and Jeremy and all those phenomenal deck builders and players. I just think this incorporates the best aspects of what the meta was. And I think this is still the best deck this year. So it's not fully tuned yet. It's at 53. But I was so pumped to show this, to show it off, to play it. I wasn't gonna do a video yet. I had recorded a video and I had it ready for release on Monday, and I knew Jay and I were playing Tuesday, and I was like, you know what, I'll hold off just in case. And I was like, maybe I'll do a perspective after the game, or if I win, I'll hold off and I'll do the video afterwards. And so I was telling Jay, like, I cooked up something good. So sometimes I'll just play some fun decks or not as competitive. But I let him know, yeah, this time I've got something good brewed up in the lab. So Jay and I were talking on the phone earlier before our game, a few hours beforehand, and said from like how to play resources, how to save resources, how to play in the battle, and gear up for the battle. Sometimes I tend to overthink, but we were just talking, kind of complimenting each other on our game, and just saying what we thought we did well, deck building and playing wise. And we were saying it was going to be a really good game when we played. It was either going to be a really good game or it was just going to be a complete something happens and it's just so boring and someone walks over the other. As you can see, I have 8 evil characters here. I have Golgotha, Darkness, Galileans, and Lawless. So, Rob, you asked, did I have ways to evil characters? Forgot I had Lawless too. So, I have 3 neutrals that I could easily draw in the opening hand, Golgotha, and 8 characters. With that being said, I drew 8. Jay rolled, and he got to go first. And he got a nice little banding chain off the rip. And I drew 8, and I had 4 dominants in my hand, and no evil character, and no way to an evil character. So that sucked. So I was able to draw, and I got like an extra 6 cards off. I think I did 4 drachma. I drew 4 drachma coins, so that's 7, and then attacked with like a John, the fisherman band. So I drew 9 cards there, and I didn't get an evil character. That really sucked. So now I had to play as if, okay, the game's not over, but like it's gonna quickly get out of hand. So Jay walked in for 1. I got 1. Jay walked in for 2, and then I got 2. And I have all these dominants in my hand, but I know like if I can't get 1 block, it's not gonna matter. So then Jay got he had already played Son of God. He'd gotten his other rescue, so he had 3 at this point. He went 1 turn ahead of me. He's played Son of God, and he went to rescue, and I was able to, on my 3rd attack, I drew a lot more, or a little bit more just to get something. I had some sort of small block, was able to put something together, and he had to battle, and I couldn't get it. So I missed the 1 block. I had Second Coming in my hand to where I could have just been like, okay, and then before the end of my battle, like before battle resolution, and played Second Coming into Son of God to get 3. it just it didn't matter. So um, he walked right, and then he had Crowd's Choice and Second Coming, or yeah, Crowd's Choice to Second Coming, and that was it. So I did all this practice. Y'all, I'd load decks into Lackey, and I have a webcam above my computer. So I aim. So that's how I play like Zoom games. I don't know why I said I have a webcam. That doesn't matter for this. I load the deck on Lackey, and I draw, and then I play in front of me. So like I have this deck built in person, and I play it in front, and I have Lackey decks that I load. And sometimes I'll just put out like tough heroes to get around. Like I'll just throw out a Cloud Moses or like a Jonah or something, like characters out that I think that I want to challenge myself on to get around. I know it's like me versus me. I get that, but it's practice, and I always win, baby. No, but this deck, I destroy those other ones, and I don't play like a bias. Like, oh, what would I do? No, like I play both as if what's the ideal attack, what's the ideal block, yada yada. This deck does everything. So, um, the fact that I just whiffed on evil characters, drew that many cards and whiffed on evil characters, and I'm not playing defensive light. It really sucked. Like if you look at this deck, there's two duels, and in a pinch, I really would never use Zacchaeus in a pinch, but like I have Judas that I could use as both. I have 10 heroes. Zacchaeus is pretty much 11 heroes. I have 8 evil characters, but then I have Judas as could be either or, so 9 evil characters. Darkness to get an evil character. Galileans to swap something from my hand if I have an enhancement or something. And Lawless. So Golgotha, 3 Lost Souls, 8 evil characters, and Judas. Y'all, I went like 24 cards deep and didn't get an evil character. So I say that because you can practice and make the best deck ever and feel so good about it. And I'm going to be honest, like, I was bummed after that game. Jay told me he'd give me a call. If y'all don't know Jay, y'all haven't played him before, he's not the most fun to play against, but one of my good friends. And he called me afterwards, and it was funny. He kind of checked himself. He was saying how much fun that game was. And I was just quiet. I wasn't sulking, but I was like, well, that game wasn't fun. I whiffed on evil. We didn't even have any fights. We had no battles. And Jay kind of caught himself. He said, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm being a jerk. That game was only fun because I won. He goes, honestly, I just really wanted to I really wanted to get a win against you. And that game wasn't fun. You whiffed on evil characters. I started laughing. I said, yeah, I mean, I had no evil characters. We had one battle. But that's okay. The offense did what it needed to. And we started talking about the deck matchups and everything. But I say that because I was bummed. And it was only because I did so much to get into the Zoom Invitational to lose the first round. And where I thought I have, in my mind, I just have the best deck. So I want to say you could practice. You can do everything right. You can put in the time. You can be a good sport. You could take hours of deck building and practicing and playing against yourself and playing against others and just honing in on your skills. And boom, you can whiff on evil characters, and in 3 turns you lose. And that's just how it is. So, wanted to talk about that, and then I wanted to go into this deck. So, I think April, May, Jaden released a video, and it was Orange and Thieves, 57 cards, and he was doing like tokens and Possessing Spirit and choosing the blocker with Silver, Simon the Zealous, and Zacchaeus. And he talked about when he was playing at a tournament, he was going up against a much less experienced player than Jaden. That doesn't take away anything from the player because Jaden is one of the absolute best. And he's playing against a teenager, I believe. And the teenager is using Disciples Orange. And the teenager I keep saying the teenager, I don't want to call him a kid, but this young man put Possessing Spirit in Jaden's territory. And he attacked with Simon, and he was like, "Can I choose possessing spirit?" And from Jaden's video, I'm gonna have to link it in mine. He smirked, he kind of smiled, and he was just like, "Yeah, I guess you can." He almost came off like he was very impressed, like, "Wow, yeah, that's really good." And then Jaden being Jaden, like, honed in on that and made a phenomenal deck. When I saw Jaden's video, I let people know in a later video of mine that y'all need to be prepared for that because, in my opinion, it was the best deck that was out there at the time. But because Jaden released it, everyone saw it. I think he felt like he was going to play what his other thing he was playing, which was also really good. I do think the offense he showed, it's just very difficult to stop. So I started incorporating type 2, but I didn't feel like it was mine. So I didn't want to use it. I didn't want to do the whole driven by spirits loop. And if you don't know about that, it's type 2. It's crazy. So I backed off and went something else and had a lot of fun in type 2, but I always thought that the concept that Jaden had of tokens possessing spirit, like choosing the blocker with auto kills and just there's really nothing they can do. I thought that was really good, but I didn't think silver was the right choice. I didn't think you needed those angels. I thought you can do it with the best offense out there. So I've been sitting on this for quite a while now, and I wanted to get it down to a really good spot. So since I got my butt kicked, I will show it to you all. This is a very high level, high skill, high level deck. It's extremely complex. So if you're watching and you want to just pick it up, get a few games in it alone, by yourself, play it out. Do what I do. If build the deck in Lackey, play it out through Lackey, and then if you're like, okay, I'm feeling comfortable, play it, make it in physical version, and load a deck in Lackey and play against yourself a few turns. I would not just take this to a tournament. The other reason I wanted to show this is because I went to a district it was Friday night and Saturday. I got there really late Friday night. I got fake locked out. It was awesome. Twice. We just had to go to Cookout, Brian. And so Brian was there, brought an awesome group of, we're going to call them young men. That's what they are. I'm going to be honest, when a man was, I don't know, this might sound weird. When I was called a young man, when I was like a teenager, I felt better. I didn't like, even though I knew I was a kid and I knew I had growing up to do and learning to do, I just didn't like being called a kid because I felt like when I was in my teens, especially, like 16 to 19 in those early 20 years, like other men won't see you as a man. Like, because they've gone through more, they're just like, you're still a kid to me. But I didn't want to be called a kid. So when it comes to people that are younger age, like I know I might look young, but 34, still young in my mind. So I like to call other people young men. So yeah, sidebar. Y'all always get to hear my thoughts on here. Tyler's thoughts that come out of his mouth, called talks. So Brian brought the play group. He brought the house with him, man. It was awesome. And I made a 60 card Soul Hide sight lockout. I mean, I was just going to have some fun. It was a silver offense. And then I really wanted to challenge the play group. Because it was like Brian's there and Jeremy's there and Hendrix is there. I didn't want to just go and try to whoop up on people and try to only fight. Like, you win 1 or 2 games and then that's it. I'm playing against Brian or Jeremy or Hendrix. Like, I play them enough. Actually, I've only played Brian like once in a long time, but I wanted to play the younger group. I wanted to play those young men and go up against them, but I wanted to have tough defenses and decks that gave them choices and options to where they had to think through things. I'm going to be honest, y'all, they whooped me. gloves are off. I'm coming for them. I am going to destroy them when I get back. Uh, I believe it's going to be Mr. Classic that I'm going to have to um, burn all their hopes and dreams and utterly destroy them. Y'all, they whooped me. They won the timed win. But yeah, I was 0-2 against them. I played Peter and Ewan. Um, awesome games. So y'all need to make your decisions quicker. I do the same thing. I try to think too much. Um, Instead of just knowing, hey, here's my attack, let's go through it. I try to think way too much, and then it's like, oh, I've got to make a decision. So we'll work on that throughout the season. Anyway, when I was playing Ewan, he was playing uh, Jaden's version of this, and I was saying I don't think it needs to be 57. Um, I don't think you need the thieves. I really like it with Highwayman and Plunderers. Like y'all know, I love Demon Thieves. Like that's my defense. Like it's so good. You just need a couple, like 3 thieves. Judas is 4. The thief is 5, but it's 3. Um, so I love that defense, and I was saying it. You can come out easily, put all your tokens on someone, and get a draw. I mean, you name it, draw 10, 11, 12. Well, it wouldn't be 11 unless you had another place, but you can get a massive draw off Choke Seed. I can put tokens on you to where you can't play anything, and I can choose the blocker, or I can go Beelzebub with tokens on you and exchange the hero and bring in your guy with 2 possessed with a Beelzebub and Afflicting Spirit. I like my little Reckless Spirit comes out, or Restless comes out and gets the 2 possessed, puts it on you, and then goes like Driven by Spirits or Blasphemies. You can't play anything. Or the best one is Destructive Sin. Withdraw all. All is really nice too if I can get like 2 possessed on 2 heroes in battle. So there's a lot of sneaky blocks. Blocking and then just dropping tokens on you to decrease you is very good. So there's a lot of sneaky blocks. Orange is a lot of fun. I think you'll start seeing more of it. I get all the battle doms and all the craziness. The whole point of this deck is to make it to where my opponent never gets to block. They never get to use their defense. I don't want them to touch any of their defense. So I either choose their guys to block. So I'll go out. Usually it's Gabriel. I brought everything into main deck too. I'm not trying to go to my reserve. I can get a turn 1, choose a blocker if I want. But I'll go Gabriel to Simon and choose. I can choose your guy, and then I can play Resurrection, and I can band in, John, Matthias, Joanna, Lazarus, or Matthew. I can get a massive advantage. Toss the next, bounce you, and then that's fine. I can make you choose a blocker, and if it's a 0-3, your auto kill on your own person. I can choose the blocker. I could also use Resurrection with John and Zacchaeus. And Zacchaeus can just reserve you. I like to do this as well, where I choose a blocker, toss, bounce you, reserve something in your territory, and then I have a lot of between Judas, Distressed, Destructive Sin. You can't draw at all, and I knock down your characters, and then I have Possessing Spirit as well, and then I hit all your stuff in territory for good. So really what I found is you can search. That's about it. I have thought about trying to bring in, play Judas as a demon, or I'm sorry, as a thief, and bringing in Sheol. That's just not reliable. So, that's not really, when I'm drawing as much as I am, it doesn't really matter for Sheol. So unless Jonah or something comes in, I just couldn't really fit anything unless I do blindness as an artifact. So I feel like there's enough here to where I was okay with not punishing searching. Um, so yeah, then the other attacks I will, and as if resurrection isn't good by itself, um, I really like to choose the blocker on your guys, and I'll just go straight to a right on into either a love one another or an AOC. And it's like, oh, well, that's just to win more. No, I try to win like ASAP. Like all my rescues are insane. Um, choose your guy, blow them all up. Uh, if I choose my guy, then I will play right on into love one another, and I can bounce my guy and I can convert yours. So I'll try to set up this to convert all your guys and um, bounce my evil guy in battle. And it's like, okay, well, that's still a little win more. Well, now I can just go Beelzebub to Afflicting Spirit, and you got nothing for in the battle. So not bad there. I do want to bring in Hating the Light because I do like having Afflicting Spirit and 2 Possess for more blocks. Just this offense is extremely high octane and potent. So I will choose the blocker and play Angel Lord. And then, of course, I have the big 2. I can play Falling Away and choose the blocker. It's the ultimate cheese offense. And none of that had to do with my own tokens. I can play Accumulator and make tokens. I can go to 2 Possessed and make evil character. These are all evil character tokens. He's a 2/2. He's a 1/3. Afflicting Spirit can be placed. Sordid Spirit can be placed. Evil Spawn can be placed. And Possessing Spirit can be placed. Usually I put Possessing Spirit in your territory and just leave it there. And then really I just do tokens. Whether it's Wicked Spirit or Violent Possessor, it's really good. And that's more than enough for me. I'll choose the blocker, your tokens, or my tokens. And if you're not playing orange, I don't even need to rush to Covenant of Adam. But if I do, your blocking characters are decreased to 3, and you're dead. Restless Spirit will protect your tokens from being chosen. So I usually just go out with Restless Spirit to get a Kamikaze or a Restless Spirit to get a 2 Possessed. And then I tend to die. And then I use Gates of Hell to bring in like someone else. Or I just die and give you Lost Soul. But I like to set up my Restless Spirit with 2 Possessed and then have them die afterwards. And then I have to watch out for Covenant with Adam because it will kill my tokens and my Afflicting Spirit and my Possessing Spirit. But I usually don't block with them. So, and honestly, I don't really get out Covenant with Adam. It's in the deck, but I'm really not using it, y'all. You'll see. So I have the 1 add to battle on evil. I have the reserve access. I have the consistency. I have Matthew in here, of course. I have all the craziness to get to it. I have the strongest enhancement in the game, one of the strongest enhancements in the game. The mass battle or the mass band that's just New Testament heroes, not humans or anything. So that's very good. And then I have good seed in reserve because I could also just choose the blocker and do good seed as well to bring in like Matthias or Zacchaeus or John the Fisherman, whatever. Like rescue with John, and if they block with the lone guy, it's good seed, boom, boom. It's also just good to have. Also, with people having the add to battle DOMs, like those are Warrior Overtaken and Murderous Command, they are seeing a lot of play. That if they don't bother me at all because I can just choose the blocker, you're dead, and then you play a dominant, and then I match you with a dominant. So it's very, very hard to deal with. Bethlehem because Zacchaeus and Simon are Luke heroes. Judas is also a Luke hero, so I can have my heroes be CBP. Who else? And Matthew. I think that's everything. Okay, Joanna. So I get Matthew, Joanna, Zacchaeus, Judas, and Simon are all CBP with Bethlehem as a site. I have the additional add to battle and very minimal reserve access. Um, like I can grab some covenants, but Book of the Covenant is already doing that. The only two covenants I can take are Cove Prayer and You Will Remain. If I do get both of these out early, it's nice to just snag an extra covenant. I do like having You Will Remain out. So the add to battle is pretty insane. I do have Covenant of Prayer as like that I need something from reserve, or you dubious doubters, or a Sabbath breaker, my Son of God, or something. Um, I don't think it needs to be in here, but it's nice to have. It's a covenant, and I could always snag it with book and then grab like expatriator if you negate my Jerusalem or something. Same with good seed, just like grab covenant of prayer with Book of the Covenant and then play good seeds. Nice. Same with Bethlehem. I can take any of my targets in reserve. So that's it. We'll go through, and it's at 53 cards, and we'll play it. Okay, so hey, look, one more evil character than I had in my game. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. So we check out our stars. Nothing we can use. This is a good enhancement from reserve. And I did draw 4 dominance against Jay. I drew 3 right here. I don't love that. 3 neutrals, 3 doms. That's kind of ugly. But oh well. So no stars. Just depends on who goes first. If they get to go first, they get it. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. So we could even give it to them. Here, you could have it. So now we can. I like playing Jerusalem as an evil card. For this deck, I feel like it's easy to negate either way and target. I feel like negating neutrals is a little bit more common, and they have to think about negating Jerusalem as an evil fortress or trying to get rid of it. So I tend to play it as an evil fort. And then we do have, now before you play Patmos, you need to see like who do you want. Now that doesn't mean you just sit and wait. We have Reassuring Angels, and we're going to go to Peter to get Herod's Temple and go to Matthew. So, I mean, usually that answer is always Matthew. It's funny because Jay did say that he's only lost 2 games to Matthew decks. Okay, so from here, we have the Humble Lost Soul. We do want to put it in a site. We just want to know which site. So depending on what we saw that they attacked with us would determine if it's going in the part with green or the part with white. So we have Golgotha. Once again, we wanted to do the same thing, make sure that we looked at our hand before we played Golgotha, just so we know who we're searching for. I have Accumulator. That's really big. So I am going to have my tokens and my place cards. So at this point, we could go to Sorted Spirit, and Sorted can go to Evil Spawn, but you have to have something to place on. So sometimes this can nip you in the butt early on. So it just depends on what they have. And we don't need to do a shuffle because we're about to do Reassuring Angels. We don't need to do the Accumulator right here. So from here, we're good. We go Reassuring to Peter to Herod's Temple. And then, so we had to convert him to play a good New Testament Fortress from deck. And then we can play to, or ban to a Disciple. And now we would have to do a quick shuffle. Flipsy Daisy. And I'll give myself a draw 4. I mean, I did get Untouchable right there. Not bad. Not great. Not bad. Not great. I don't know. A 2 heroes, because if they get rid of, really the only thing they could do, and it depends, if they block me with like a Korra and they go to Reap the Whirlwind, then I can go to an Untouchable. Or I could always add a Matthias to battle. I could play awesome things and add a Matthias to battle. Um, with that being said, I could then get the toss off Herod's Temple for a 7-0, or I can just go Matthias with Untouchable. So you just got to know how to play the offense, depending on how they block. What do you think they have? They could easily have a stricken, or I'm sorry, a scattered sheep, a scattered, an abandonment. Those are all very popular brigades right now. So who knows if we get that or not. Now we have a very good play here because not only did we get out our tokens, we did not play a territory class enhancement. Now we gave them distressed, which that kind of sucks, but we can play destructive sin and they can't draw. That is absolutely brutal. They have to have purple, green, or silver. It's not the hardest thing to do, but them not being the draw is a big advantage. Depending on how they attack here, what numbers they have, depends on how I block. So I could just more than likely block with Evil Spawn and take an orange Gospel enhancement from my deck. And then when a Gospel demon blocks, I may place up to 7 of your Wicked Spirit tokens on a character. They're going to have something out in territory. You just want to get enough tokens on there to where the character, remember, it's not hero, it's not human, it's not New Testament, anything evil character. It is a character. Also, if they don't have any, you can put it on your own guy. So it's if your Gospel Demon blocks, you may place up to 7 of your Wicked Spirit tokens on a character. If they don't have anything down or it's protected, put it on yours. You could create initiative, like you could make Matthew a 0-2. All we care about is that we have orange place cards. If they have a guy that's 4-2 out, I don't want to put one token out there. I'd rather just put them all on my Peter the Rock. I was going to just say his first name, but that was going to sound weird. So what I can do is I could put all 7 right there if I wanted to. So let's do it. We'll keep one. And we can keep doing this. If your Gospel Demon's blocked, you may place up to 7 of your Wicked Spirit tokens on a character. Decrease. We can just keep moving them around, to my knowledge. If I block, I can move them around and just boom, dead, move them around how I want. Assuming I have initiative, I would then play either Driven by Spirits, but what I like to do is I like to go Choke Seed. I just like to get my hand down a little bit. So really, if I could, I'd go Son of God. I asked for Dominish, Son of God, Second Coming. Get my hand down just so I could play Choke Seed. So Choke Seed is X equals the number of your placed orange cards. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I get to draw 7 from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't need to do prosperity because we also get to draw X from the bottom of deck. Now we can only do 4. So I'm going to move the bottom 4 to the top of my hand. I don't know if I replace from top or bottom. I always forget that. So if you draw this card, I can reveal the top 6. I probably like to do theirs as I like to generate lost souls. when I have, because I can't do this to myself, I'm at 16. So I would like to generate souls for them and generate souls with harvest because if put in play. I then get to place choke seed on a hero. I like to place it on the hero in battle and prevent their enhancements. I then play driven by spirits, and I can underdeck a character. I tend to do the character in battle and this card. That would fall off. Their enhancements would be prevented, and I'd go about my way. If they had a big band, that's fine. I could put choke seed on someone else. I can play driven by spirits on whoever I want, and I could just die and go about my way as well. And I could give up one more lost soul. Don't want to do that, but I could. I have 15 cards. I can only draw one. Upkeep, we have Jerusalem. I have 16 cards in my hand, so if I reserved anything, it would go to my reserve, and I wouldn't be able to take anything. So I'm going to opt out of my Jerusalem. Going to bring Lawless in here. We want to keep Harvest out because if it's rescued, it generates a lost soul. We could immediately put down Resurrection Revealer. If we think we want to play Judas as evil, we can. I like having the double good, like the layer for Judas and Destructive. If they negate my evil, I have Judas. If they negate my good, I have Destructive Sin. They'd have to hit like both my stuff in order for me to not get the benefits of having them. I then can go to Book of the Covenant. And as soon as we play Book of the Covenant, we have to go to reserve and look. So if you didn't get a good peek at what you got, it's too late. So I put tokens on my guy, so I cannot choose them. So I was just doing that as an example. If their guys are protected, you're always going to have tokens on their people, whether it's, they're going to have someone that you can play 4 or 5 tokens on. But regardless, that's okay. It also works out to where if you put tokens on their character, let's say they have a 10-10 and you drop all 7 tokens on their evil character, well, guess what? I activate Covenant with Adam. I choose the blocker. They're dead. It's very good. So from here, I can go to Covenant with Prayer, and that can give me Bethlehem. That can give me Expatriator. That can give me Good Seed. It's really, really good. So it just depends on what's happening out in the board. That's why I really like a flexible reserve, to where I can kind of get around anything. If you have Sheol out, Covenant with Prayer, go to Expatriator. If you have Confusion of Mind, get out Bethlehem, have CBP heroes. So I used to have his sacrifice in here too. I don't know. I like it. It's good. I just didn't really need to play anything in the battle. So let's see. I don't need to bounce anything. I really like Oath of Purity in here over Send the Helper because I ultimately went away from any clay enhancements and really focused on what I could get and what was flexible. My offense can do the rest. So I need to be able to get out of scenarios. And that's kind of how I built my reserve. And then my deck is pretty much full power. If I wanted to bounce my 2 heroes, I could. I remember we did draw into Gabriel. So if I needed to, I would go Covenant Prayer, Expatriator to Gabriel. And I had a Simon the Zealous. So I have to choose the blocker. So at this point, having both Gabriel and Simon is really good. I'm honestly really not sure what I would take here without seeing the board. Usually I go to You Will Remain. So I can also go to New Covenant. And then New Covenant can go to deck or reserve. Honestly, I shouldn't have looked at deck. I should just go to reserve and grab Good Seed and play it because I'm not playing another territory class enhancement. So that's what I should do. I shouldn't even have hit deck. Just go straight to the reserve, play good seed. Um, and from here, I'll probably just attack from hand and go Gabriel to negate something and go to Simon. And I can choose their stuff. Um, if I want, I can choose their guy and I can play Resurrection. Or I can play Right On to AOC. It really just depends how many evil characters they have out. Um, for this, I'd probably go to Resurrection and get out John the Fisherman. Um, and I could band in 3. At this point, it would be 1, 2, 3. And if like I want to do John the Fisherman if I didn't have Right On. So just make sure you understand that he has to have a dominant. So first I would show you a dominant. I would draw 2, and then I would use Judas's ability to draw 2, and then I would use Matthias to bounce who I chose, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I get to reveal the top 6, and then I get to take a card. I don't really need anything here. It's nice to have Zacchaeus, just in case something happens to my Oath of Purity. And then your evil character that I chose is bounced, and the next enhancement you play is tossed. There's nothing you can do there. What's really nice is if I choose my like possessing spirit or sorted spirit, then my gospel demon blocked, and I can move my tokens. That's really cool. I like doing that. I could play my possessing spirit, put that in your territory. I can protect my stuff, which is really nice when it's not my turn to just drop him. Since I have Herod's Temple, I can drop some of these heroes that I know are protected. If your board starts to look like a Type 2 game, you're in the driver's seat. For territory class stuff, especially when I'm playing on Lackey, I like to put them up top um, to let people know like the board gets pretty crazy. So I don't want to hide anything to where it looks bad. And I'll let people know like what's there too. So just a little game etiquette. So from here, it'd be my opponent's turn, and I do like going to Restless Spirit, and then it's either 2 possessed or I just go to Suicidal Swine. It depends. If I know I can just get the block this way. The only way I can get 2 possessed though now is by Jerusalem. That's really the only issue. I like having this in main deck as well. I just like the it's just tough to bring into main deck when you're at 53 and your defense is a little contingent on getting some setup in. So, and maybe that's why, the other reason I lost to Jay. I'm a little reliant on getting a few things going. So now I draw 3. I could top deck a demon from deck. I have 8 cards. I don't really care to top deck anything. I get to draw 1 from book, and I get to reserve a card with Jerusalem. If I'm low on cards and I don't have Right On in my hand, I will not do this. But, that's the other reason that Covenant Prayer is in there. If I do accidentally reserve like my one Old Testament card other than book, I can Covenant with Prayer. So at this point, I can move a random card to the top of my reserve. It was Blasphemies, and I can take a card from my reserve. I could either do 2 Possessed for more tokens, so I can choose the blocker. I can get CBP. I can get Expatriator. It's really whatever I need once again. I'll take 2 Possessed, and then my Good Seed also procs, triggers, upkeep. I have to use it. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I always look over this aspect. That's really cool. I think I've barely seen that before. Um, that's got to take a lot of time to do. Like, cause this is the graphic. This is the space where the graphic goes. So you'd have to put in the graphic, and I guess you have to draw out the graphic space, and then hide, like manually hide, like draw around what you want. I'm guessing. I don't know. Um, so when we look at GOC and just how many cards it is, and then look at the artwork, the borders and all that, like, and we see that there's what else? Like, what was the other? Oh yeah, here. Like if that's how I just explained it, then you have to draw around all that. Like I'm not entirely sure how it's done, but um, it's not like there's. I'm trying to explain it. Like this is part of a bigger picture, so you'd have to put it in. So either way, um, the largest set to ever be done, and we have 3D graphics like that takes a lot of time. So um, if you ever just reach out to Gabe and say appreciate the graphics, because I've seen it. I had to clean up some of the files on Adobe to help out with the next set. I was like, this is wild, man. This takes forever, and all I had to do was click stuff and hit delete. Um, so yeah, if you ever reach out, just like let the team know. Elders do a lot, so make sure you're telling them thanks. Um, anyway, yeah, I just noticed that. I don't think I ever have before, the leg coming out. So either way, I don't think I ever took something for good seed, right? I cannot take covenant with Adam. I cannot take oath of purity. The only thing I can take is covenant with prayer. Um, I do not need anything with new covenant. So I turn that over. Oh, I forgot I have another. So now I go into my prep phase. So now I can get oath of purity or covenant with Adam with book of the covenant. I have Zacchaeus, so I don't need to bounce Simon. So I don't necessarily need oath of purity. So I would just go to covenant with Adam here, or at least I take it. And I could go to covenant with prayer. If I also feel like I don't need Cov Adam, I can go to covenant with prayer and take either, what do I want to take here? And then banish that. I play my 1 TCE, which is 2 possessed. And if you're wondering why I don't have like Fallen Star, Red Dragon, both 2 possessed and possessing spirit are Unity, evil characters, gospel. I would put the tokens on their best heroes, so they're restricted from playing. Now from here, I would go Expatriator to, oh, there you go, another one. Wings coming out. There's another one. Look at that. There's another one. Look at all this craziness. Expatriator to Gabriel. There's another one. Just like the overlapping of stuff. Here, right where my mouse is. So the overlapping of graphics into other boxes. So Expatriator to Gabriel, and then I can ban to a gospel hero, and I can choose an evil character. You have to have some sort of add to battle. The only thing I don't like about Zacchaeus is I don't have the right on play to where I can just boom, boom, blow up. So sometimes, like if I felt like I really didn't need that Expatriator, then I would have gone to Oath of Purity. Whichever I got, whether it was with good seed or not, it doesn't matter. I would just put it back where it was at, and I would bounce Simon just to do it again, and I would Simon choose the token, And then by then you usually have a little bit of stuff down, and I could play Right On, um, and I could play Love One Another, which gets past your protection. It's regardless of protectability, so if used by a Meek. So I could um, select up to X, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Convert the selected humans and bounce the rest. So I would select up to 4 evil cards, which would be 1, and then 3 of your humans in territory. I would convert your evil characters and bounce my token. If you had add to battle before then, like I didn't have to play that. If you did add to battle, I would then go right on to AOC, like as soon as your abilities are done on add to battle. So I don't need Spirit as a Dove, and I could put down Sorted, and that's it. I mean, I still have more attacks where I'm just choosing the blocker with Cov Atom. I still feel like I have some blocks too, and like as long as I have a hero with a token, Afflicting Spirit to possess is good, and I definitely like going Sorted to Beelzebub to Afflicting to the guy that can't play any enhancements. It's also very good, and I get the Banish at the same time. So yeah, it's really, really strong, and I have all sorts of these cards out. So back to my point, you can have what you think is the best deck, or it could be the best deck. Like I think this is absolutely phenomenal. This is very similar to the offense that won Nationals last year, and it has a defense that does not let you do anything. So it's extremely fast, it's extremely consistent, it's extremely strong. It doesn't let you block, and it has Judas and Destructive Sin to really just make it to where you can't really accumulate many resources, negate all your good stuff in territory. So I do think this is a phenomenal deck, and it's 0-1, and it got clobbered. 3 turns I lost. So hopefully you like it. And this is kind of what I was hinting at when I said, like I'll show you what I have for when you were playing kind of Choke Seed with the Angels and everything. I was like, there's more to it. This is what I was hinting at. So hopefully you watch. If not, someone tell them to watch, because I think this is much better than what he's running. No offense. And this is 53. You can get it down to 50. So challenge accepted, right? Maybe you don't need Jerusalem. I really like it for the versatility, but it is a quote-unquote slow card. Like when I play it, I don't get anything in return the first turn. So I have to get it early on to accumulate resources. And if I can get enough stuff in my deck, or I'm sorry, if I can get enough stuff out of my deck, by the time I get this, it doesn't really get me a lot. So maybe Jerusalem comes out. So that would be 52 cards. I'll be honest, I don't really use all these heroes. And I have Patmos and Zacchaeus and Judas. So maybe I drop the hero that I use the least, which is probably Joanna, even though I like to bring in Joanna on the Resurrection, and it's an Empty Tomb hero. She's one that I use the least. And that's 51 cards. So you can go from there. I don't know, but the reserve can do a little tweaking. I'm not sure. And maybe 2 possessed comes into main deck. But either way, yeah, this is it. So you can practice and you can still lose. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged. Reach out for help. Play more games. If you keep losing with the same deck, look to make it better. It's okay to scrap decks. I mean, I get it. Sometimes it's just like Hendricks is always going to play Patriarchs, you know? So I got to keep coming up with stuff for him. But there's always going to be stuff to play. Talk to other people if you keep losing. I love how Brian does the level up stuff. They have to play against Brian, and based on what uh, there's 7 levels, and Brian has 7 decks in level 1 through 7. So like if you sit down against Brian, it's the first time you played, like, and you're doing the quote unquote level up. He'll play you with the level 1 deck. If you beat that, you get like credit towards his like cards to where you can get like exchange credit for some of his collection to build up yours. And so it's really cool what he does. And then when you're at level 1 and you beat him, then you go to level 2. So you have to remember what level you're at. I believe, I'm sure they mark it or something, um, and they go all the way up. So he has a player that's at level 6. I don't know where everyone else is, but I thought that was cool. Um, so that's something else. Like Brian has all these different decks that keep getting better and better. So just kind of look if you're stuck in a rut. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. Um, I hope you enjoyed this deck more than I did today. I wasn't able to enjoy it. So, and Jay, it sucked. Like, he got the 3 walk in. So, I felt like he would have gotten 1 block on me from a dominant. Other than that, nothing. But what can you do? You know, what can you do? So, I still need to learn from that and make sure, hey, maybe my defense is a little too complicated. Um, Maybe I do need to bring in just like how Jaden had with Plunderers and Highwayman and Repentant Thief. So I can just have some better blocks up front. So we will see. But I hope you all enjoyed. I think I said that already. So I'm getting out of here. It is late. I'm tired. Thank you all for watching. And I will talk to you next time.